Hello, everyone. My name is Elena, and I will be introducing the ICOS project at the beginning and then go through the application process on the web page directly so that you know what we are dealing with and what is expected from you on every step of the way. And then we will have a Q&A session. So I believe we can start. I will share my screen. Okay. Can you see this? I believe you can. Great. So ICOS actually is the abbreviation for Internet of Things to Cloud Operating System. And this is what it's all about in short. So it has received funding under the topic Horizon, you can see on the page. Main objective of ICOS project is to design, develop, and validate a meta operating system for a continuum. I will explain in more detail what it means, but I believe that you can understand from the description. How? So by extending existing platforms and creating a platform where not only cloud computing resources are managed, but also edge IoT devices are integrated. So what does that mean is, by the way, ICOS should not be confused with the platform. It's a meta operating system. So I can show you in this case of a railway structural monitoring system. So we have a railway and then we have those devices. What we are trying to do is we are trying to, and we have a cloud computing. We are trying to link all those devices to the cloud to make them organize and operate in a more efficient way so that they can signal if something is wrong, what they're suspecting, and then react immediately on it, whether by itself, because we probably are also researching on that possibility, or by informing the client immediately. So we have 4 already existing use cases because ICOS will be an architecture that is going to be validated through 9 use cases in total. We have 4 in the project already, and we are looking for 5 more through this first open call. So we have a use case in-car advanced infotainment and multimedia management system that focuses on the main target to optimize the distribution of multimedia content so that high quality reception can be achieved even in low connectivity situations while avoiding service interruptions. So the service provides and enriches multimedia functionalities for planning, enjoying trips, and visiting touristic sites. Its deployment architecture includes edge nodes to host rendering and reprocessing and more powerful cloud nodes. We are going to also focus on the nodes in a couple of minutes. Then we have the second one. It's agriculture operational robotic platform. So what it means, it optimizes farming with agrobots or agbots. And what are the agrobots? That are used for precision agriculture to develop processes on farms, reducing operating costs, improving awareness of technology potential impact, digital competences, improves effective use of resources, as well as reduces the amount of used plant protection products. I'm reading this so that I don't get something wrong on this one. To achieve these benefits, it is a must to further develop digital robotic systems based on data exchange ecosystems and services based on their semantic processing to provide knowledge and tools that will increase efficiency, ensure safety, and confirm product quality in the supply chain, while reducing costs and providing valuable information to farmers. So as you can see, we have the objective with the ICOS architecture, and the project itself is to provide the better services in industry, and we also will see everyday life to users so that clients can organize better their IoT ecosystems. The third one I already showed you a while back, but these are more information on it. So the railway structural alert monitoring system that improves the railway monitoring process, the monitoring process done by a special train, which can measure several key parameters on the railway system. It's only taken every few months. So this is the reality of today's systems. So it is not frequent enough. So the use of digital technology and IoT aims to minimize the monitoring and maintenance costs by gaining knowledge of the status of key aspects of the railway's infrastructure in real time. So that will mean that railway can be maintained more efficiently, accurately, and updated more frequently. And the last one is energy management and decision support system. As I said, we can also use this in our everyday lives, not only in industry. So energy consumption in smart homes, which we are all concerned about nowadays, especially. So consumers are already investing in smart devices and energy storage to better manage their electricity consumption. Green energy is enabling the transition to smart homes through active participation in and support of ESPN's smart meter program and installation of solar PV, solar thermal, smart heating controllers, and EV chargers through electricity energy services. So these are just listing what we already can use nowadays. Planned enablement of domestic services to support the distribution network will further drive uptake in smart, controllable domestic devices, which can leverage payments for flexible energy usage. So this is also linked to the public service, as you know, to provide actually the flexible energy uses, because not in every country this is the reality. So now we are going to the ICOS architecture. So ICOS architecture, I will also going to read this and then explain a bit up to my abilities. Dynamic Meta OS distributed along the continuum. So cloud, virtually unlimited computing and storage capacity versus the edge, locality exploitation, latency and communication reduction, privacy preservation. So we're going to focus on all those. Nodes that can be found there can join or leave, move throughout the continuum, establishing new proximity-based relationships between other nodes in different geographic locations. So we have two types of nodes at this point. We have the agents that execute the user's workload, and we have the controllers that are responsible for managing the agents. And we have also another one, a lighthouse, to simplify and automate the dynamic onboarding of ICOS agents to ICOS controllers. So as its name says, a lighthouse is the one guiding the entire operation and making it coordinated. So that is in short what the architecture looks like at the moment. We have 4 functional layers, as you can see here. So we have a distributed meta kernel layer, we have intelligence layer, security layer, and data management layer, plus ICOS shell as an additional module. So what layers are providing are functionalities at node level and at continuum level. While the distributed approach allows to decentralize the management of the continuum, reduce data transfers, ensure privacy, and better exploit computational resources at the edge without the need for a central point of control. So that is very interesting for the architecture in general, the decentralized approach. ICOS shell includes the user's interfaces and the tools to interact with the ICOS continuum, so it should be client-friendly. After we cover the basics, I'm going to talk about the ICOS funding instruments. So as I said, we are searching for 5 new use cases. We have first and the second open call. In the first open call, we are looking for solution development projects. As I said, 5 new projects. We are financing those consortia. You will see later, it's consortia that we are looking for, with 200,000 euros per project. And we are looking for 5, as I said. The support program will last for 12 months. And this is what we are focusing now. In the second open call, we are going to search for uptake projects, which means 15 individual type projects that are going to validate the all in all 9 use cases that we will have at that point. And the second open call will have the support program that will last for 6 months. So what we are looking for in this first open call, we are looking for a technology provider. That should be an entity that is an IoT infrastructure provider who is providing the infrastructure that will be deployed across the ICOS continuum. And an end user as an entity of the deployment application. Activities that can be funded can be found actually on the ICOS webpage that I will share later on, but mainly what is important to underline here is the use case services by integrating it into ICOS ecosystem and adopting the ICOS architecture infrastructure. But those use case services should be different from the fourth one we already have. That doesn't mean that they need to be necessarily in a different sector, but they just need to be different. And in order for us to reach the ICOS goal, project's goal in total, which means the validation of the ICOS architecture. So this is the timeline. Open call end date. This is, we prolonged it a bit, so it's 17th of November. Then we will start with the evaluation of proposals, which means eligibility check, pre-scoring, in and out of scope, and then external evaluation, which is quite important, and consensus meeting for the final touch-ups. Then we will have in January, February, somewhere along those lines, ethics assessment, formal check, and sub-grant agreement signatures for the ones successful. By the way, you should take this as approximate dates that can change. So these are just projections of what we think will happen, because we still don't know how many applications we will receive. And the support program, first support program, should start in March 2024. So that is it. Thank you for your attention so far. And these are the important websites. So the ICOS Project EU, where you can find also the link to the open call. And the questions you can submit directly to us. The web page is icos@fundingbox.com. It's quite simple to remember. So now I'm going to go through the open call. So this is the ICOS webpage. You go to open calls, and then you can see these are all the important documents for your information before applying. So guide for applicants that have the eligibility criteria that is important, frequently asked questions, use cases, and architecture white paper in more detail. Guide for applicants, I would just like to underline here that we are looking for in this first open call, the consortia. Both entities should be SMEs or mid-caps, and you will find the definition what that means, defined by the European Union in the guide for applicants. So application page. Now I will go through the process so that you see how it all works. So you can find in the application page all those documents repeated. So if you click on apply now, so this is how it goes. So this is the application started by me. First, you will need to create an account on the Funding Box page, but it's an easy process. Then you fill in for example, basic information. So basic information, as you can see, name of the contact person, because it's a consortium. So we need the leader, so technologies provider, to be the leader and potentially a contact person. These are just the basic information. Then we go back to the consortia composition and legal information. This is what we need for the eligibility check, to check if you are eligible to apply and to receive the funding from the ICOS project from the European Union included in the ICOS project. So name of your entity, years of operation, annual turnover, organization size, city, and the country, plus the references for both of the consortia companies. What you can see there, what I need to underline, we are not asking for any documentation at this point. We will ask for the documentation if you will be successful in your application process, and then we will follow up on all the necessary documentation in order to confirm your eligibility before you sign the contract. Also, we have the strict conflict of interest policy. So all the applied and selected use cases cannot be linked to ICOS partners. And if you think you have a potential conflict of interest, you say yes here. And then we will also get back to it in the evaluation process. So potential conflict of interest does not eliminate you, but it signals to us that there is something that we need to examine, because we are following up on that on case-by-case basis. And I cannot say if there is or isn't any before you submit your application, because we need extra documentation on this to be very diligent. Then we go to the merit of your application. So the excellence, this is where you should provide data on the project itself. So to what extent the project contributes to ICOS project scope, European dimension, that you can find the definition of in the guide for applicants. It's not complicated. You just explain why your project is focused on the European area of application. Ambition, you have all the explanation here, what it should entail. Innovation, you should be clear, concrete, and precise on what you're describing here, so that the evaluators can do their job easier. And then we have the technology TRL level. We are looking for TRL 4, and at the end of the support program, you will need to reach the TRL 5. So it's not a very demanding situation, because there's something else that we are focusing on here. Then we have the impact. I'll just go I will go through this very quickly. So here you can see the topics that are linked on the web page. So these are just proposed topics for the use case from the consortium, but we also have the 7th topic, open topic, which you can use to apply with whatever use case you think is appropriate to validate the ICOS infrastructure. Then you have the description. As I said, everything is written, what we are focusing on here, and the implementation. So here you describe your team, gender balance, resources. So resources, just to demonstrate that you have the capability in your team, and also other things that are necessary to implement the project and to finish the support program. And the budget. So here you will find the budget, the template provided, that you should, after you finish filling it up, you should upload here. Also, there is a possibility of subcontracting 15% of the total budget. So this budget here should be detailed as much as you are aware of at this point. So we are not looking for something that is out of your reach of knowledge at this point. So just focus on what you know and what you think will happen and what you think will be needed. And then we have ethical issues. We are going to have the ethical self-check at one point. So this is the implementation. Declaration of honor, which is a mandatory part, that if you have problems with declaration of honor, you should contact me and ask me because this is the elimination criteria, unfortunately. And processing of personal data as a separate part, only 3 questions here, GDPR friendly. And the statistical section, that is optional, it is not mandatory. So after you do all this, you can add a contributor here. So you don't have to be you don't have to have only one person filling in this application. You can actually have multiple people working on this. And then you submit this application at the end. What I would like to underline here, you can make as many modifications as you like until the deadline 17th of November. We are going to look at the last draft you did when evaluating your application. Nothing more of the documentation is needed than what you see right here. So everything right here is what we are asking from you. So that's it. I believe that this is it. I have nothing more to present. So I'm open for your questions. So we are going to go through the... So you ask me... you mean like... you mean this proposed use cases? I'm sorry, I didn't understand, to be honest. Okay. So, okay, I just saw it, sorry. There is no need to actually go into the difference between 4 and 6, based on what you know about your project at this point. If you think that is more similar to project number 4, then you say it is under the topic number 4. If you think it's more similar to under the topic number 6, then you say this. If you're not sure, you choose the open topic. These are just the proposals from the consortium, what they think they would like to, it's appropriate for ICOS. But we are open to any use case and all the innovation that comes our way. And we are actually welcoming, not only welcoming, but excited about any technology that actually is outside of these proposed topics. Yes. Yes. So I cannot unfortunately answer this question at this point because the architecture deliverable, first of all, because I'm not the technical partner on this one. So if this is important for you to submit your use case and your project, please send me this in an email and I will answer to you and I will ask the the technical partners. I'm not sure if we are we already have this fixed because most probably some particles of ICOS are going to be modified based on the use cases that we get. So based on the needs of the use cases, we are going to simultaneously adapt the architecture of ICOS to see how it how the best functionality will be achieved. So just so you know, some things, I'm not sure if this is already fixed, but there is a strong possibility it is not. I see the next question, so I can read it, Antonio. The group interested in developing a proposal is composed of an SME, a university that is already collaborating with the SME in the development of its research and will support the SME in the development of the ICOS extensions and of the case study. We're assuming that the SME can subcontract the university for this job. Is this approach correct from the ICOS viewpoint? So I would suggest to focus on having two entities that correspond to an SME and mid-cap definition. And then everything that you would like to do outside of those, any work that those entities would like to subcontract, it can be done up to the 15% of the budget. I cannot go into more details because I would need a lot of documentation on this one and your exact budget. But focus on those main criteria, and then subcontracting can be done along the way. It just cannot be for the work that is actually the main part of the project execution. So it can be done through different things. So maybe you can hire as an SME some of the experts from the university or something similar. So after you apply and you submit your application, there are few different possibilities how this can be done, if it can be done, but the main focus should be that the two entities should be SME or mid-caps. So that should be the main focus. If not, we cannot go beyond the eligibility check. I hope that I made this clear. Then the next question is, the users in this case study are a department of the same SME and normal people owning an electric car. Can the SME act as end user as well? The other alternative is that the university acts as end user, as the installation of a small charging station at university premises is already planned. The university, though, does not configure itself as an SME. Yeah. So this is the situation. What I usually say to people, is this. It is quite easy, relatively easy, to organize people in an SME. Or in most of the European countries, you have the possibility to construct even a one-man's company. Which by definition, in most of the cases, so I'm not saying particularly because I don't know, but in most of the cases, one man's company are actually an SME at the end. So if you can organize those two players that you need as an SME or a mid-cap, that is will pass the eligibility test. If the university really does not figure as a mid-cap or SME, then some other possibilities should be explored. I'm very diplomatic on this one. Okay, so this is it. I don't see any other questions. Yes, thank you very much.